We're good.
Part two.
Yes.
Part two.
Possible supernatural disruption, but we're back.
Yeah,
Possible.
yeah, probably. Definitely was. I had to do a clearing after that too, just because a lot of times when you talk about the dark ones or the bad stuff, they listen in and then they come through. Pew. So you got to do a prayer of protection and then power of authority clearance. Have you guys ever heard of it?
No.
It's from Mark
Like,
Har It's from Mark Hargrave, and Mark Hargrave has it's called the prayer of covering and the power of authority prayer. And when I worked at the chapel, the first thing you do is the power of deliverance. And the power of deliverance is the power of authority prayer. And when you do the power of authority prayer, the whole objective is with that is to see what manifests during that prayer. If people glitch, or if they start crying or laughing, or sometimes they can't pronounce words, they stutter. It's the whole thing is designed to cut cords of past things that are attached. You could have sometimes you have hexes or spells that were placed on you as a little child. You have hereditary demons and seals, which some of them attract poverty, sickness, any infirmities, bad luck, things like that. And that's created from, not created, it's sometimes when you're born, it's passed on hereditary. It's a hereditary seal. It's a DNA seal. Comes from your forefathers. Sorry, one sec. I don't think she realizes we're on a podcast here, so she's sitting with her electric car on. And it's a hybrid, so it's half quiet, half loud. Sorry.
You're good. We can't hear anything on our end.
Okay, good. Okay. So yeah, I think everyone in the world should do a power of authority prayer, because what it does, it cuts all ties. It cuts attachments. It cuts, sometimes we make deals in our sleep, or we agree upon things. And so it cuts all contracts and creates you back as a sovereign human being, because we are sovereign from God, divine individuals, divine power. We have the divine spark within us. And so you can take that authority back by doing the power of authority and power of prayer of protect. It's called prayer of covering. It's from Mark Hargrave. So if you look him up, you can actually punch on it and then download it or print it and then keep it around. And then it's best when you do it with 2 or 3 people or more. So I'll do that with, I did it with my new fight team, and a couple of guys, you could tell they were dealing with some issues when they did it. One guy started crying, and he couldn't repeat words. He couldn't say words. So a lot of times when we go through it, I will say, repeat after me, and I'll read the prayer out. And then after I read it, they have to repeat the word. So I'll go through a half a sentence and they repeat it. And if they can't repeat some of the words, or they can't remember, sometimes whatever's in them is trying to stop them from repeating it. So I say it again, say it again. I say it again until they can say it without stuttering it. And then we move forward. It's not that much. It's actually, it's a couple, probably 2 paragraphs. The prayer of covering is a lot bigger, but that covers everything. But if you're ever gonna, try to cut cords and ties, or you feel like you have a curse or a hex from your past or from the past relationship, just remember, we get corded to all the people that we deal with. We get corded. So sometimes you have an attachment with somebody still because you're still corded to them. So you got to cut those cords, and you actually ask God the Father Lord Jesus, Holy Spirit, to send forth Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael to pull out, to cut all cords, neutralize the cords, take the cords straight to Creator. And Archangel Raphael pull out all the roots, all debris, all non-beneficial thought patterns, any implants, any negative thought patterns, anything that's been placed in on or around my field. Remove it now, remove it now, remove it now, neutralize it, take it to Creator now. I ask for a final cleanse on myself and anyone else involved. And that's the cord cutting from St. Michael. If you want to look it up, it's from a guy named Wayne Brewer. And Wayne Brewer has a really good protocol for cutting cords, removing entities, removing a karmic demon that's attached to everyone from birth that records all your sins. And if you look him up and just research it, it's pretty interesting. The other thing is repent and ask for forgiveness, which is the big one. And then if you accept Christ as your Savior, ask him in your heart. That's a big one. And that's what most people need to do because they've never done it. They've never said, like Ho'oponopono is you say, thank you for my life. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And I love you. And you could say it in that order. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. You keep repeating those 4 phrases, and it's like a mantra, but it's to clear your energy. It's extremely important. You should do it every day. Hana Awana Pono. I'm not saying it right. So if you look it up, though, if you're having problems with financial issues, you can you could do the prayer of Jabez. I had a friend that was a baller. He's making a lot of money. And I said, what besides the fact do you do to create so much wealth? And he said, I do the prayer of Jabez with my wife every day. And he said, look it up, just look it up and then try it. So silently, I looked it up, I learned it, and I started doing it every day out in the grass and my meditation out in the ice bath. And Tanya said, hey, what have you been doing lately? I go, why? She goes, your seminars, you have privates, you have intensives, you have so many things. You're getting booked, you're getting phone call after phone, you're getting bombarded. What have you been doing? And I was like, wow, it really does work. It's a prayer of manifestation for wealth. It's basically it's power. It's called the prayer of Jabez. Oh, that you would bless me, that you would help broaden my territory, that you would place your gracious hand upon me, protect me from all evil and all harm, that I do no evil and no harm for others, to others. Amen. That's it.
I'm going to start doing it 5 times a day.
You definitely got me interested, especially in the cleansing thing. Just rolling with so many people. Rolling with so many people. That's what's super interesting. That you noticed that's what it was from. At what point did it click that some of the stuff you were experiencing, like the entities or whatever else, was possibly from rolling with people?
After I'd roll, back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of times when you'd have a bunch of hard rolls, you would take off your shirt and your shorts, and then you'd go across the street and get some food with your buddies. You have some food or a beer and sit down and laugh and talk, and then if you don't, one of the big things is showering.
Oh man, yeah, that's immediately where my head went. I was like, I can't imagine going and just hanging out for hours after.
Well, a lot of people do that. They think because of the bacteria on your body, it's good. It builds antibodies. Possibly true, but you also have energy on your body. So like if you have funk in your brain, if you're going through a mental dilemma, if you're depressed, whatever, those are clumps of energy and they attach. So I had a guy whose friend just got killed. He was driving his car and he borrowed my friend's car and he said, let me take your car. It was a really fast car. He took it out and he did a U-turn around and hit a median rolled the car, hit the ground, went up in the air, hit the ground, exploded, blew up, and he burnt in the car. And what does he do? He shows up at my gym and he goes, guess what? My friend just caught on fire in my car, rolled my car, it exploded, and he died. The next thing you know, he jumps on the floor and he's rolling and he jumps on me. He jumped right on me and we started rolling and I go, hey, are you sure you should be rolling? He goes, I got to get my mind off this. And I go, you shouldn't even be here right now, you know? And next thing you know, I rolled with him. I rolled with him for about 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden, when we were done rolling, he was happy-go-lucky and cheerful. And I felt like my best friend just died. So we transferred energy. And that's how I knew that I was pulling stuff off people. I would roll with a bunch of people and then I would have nightmares and I'm like, man, these aren't even my dreams. I was having other people's dreams. Like I was another person. It was really odd.
And like you said, you were doing massage, all types of things, working at a bar. I could totally see it. And my time as a trainer, I have some wild stories. I'm sure you do as well. Like the first time people meeting me, I've never met this person in their life. It's their first day at the gym training, and they tell me some crazy shit within like 5 minutes of talking. They'll be like, "Oh, yeah, yesterday my boyfriend died of an overdose," or "Oh, my family's really sick." Just like always really terrible things. And I, I guess I feel good that they were comfortable to tell me that right off the bat. Like something about me was telling them they could do that, but at the same time, I was like, man, I don't even know how to handle this. We're just doing a mitt workout. Like
Therapy is
Yeah.
separate. Therapy is separate. So a lot of times when you're a trainer, you're a therapist.
100%.
So you have to set boundaries. So like with my guys, what I'll do is we'll start training, we'll do a ton of drills and we'll go through stuff and we'll roll a little bit and then we'll stop and then we'll just talk about something that's currently out and about or something crazy or whatever. And everyone's got something to say. And so we get into a half-hour discussion and then we go back and start rolling again. What happens a lot of times when you are fixing somebody, which is holding pads, when you're holding pads for people, they feel compelled, or if you're training them and lifting, or if you're giving them a massage, they feel compelled that they have to dump their daily stress off on you and let you know what's going on. For one thing, they are doing that and it is happening. And, you know, maybe that's the healing quality that's attracting them to you because a lot of people need to talk to people. There's a lot of mental health today is because people sit and live on their phones and there's no personal contact. People aren't calling people anymore. They'd rather text and send messages than have a full-on personal conversation.
That's a good point. And I got a question for you. And I think I already know what your answer is going to be. But when I would be at one of the gyms I worked at after hours and at night, it was creepy. And all the bags would be swinging like by themselves sometimes. And I'm like, it makes sense though. There's so much energy being dumped here. Like people release all their stuff, just like wailing on the bags. And there was definitely a lot of people also like being scumbags and like cheating on their significant other or whatever at the gym and the cardio kickboxing classes and just all types of weird energy. And I was like, dude, I swear the gym has negative energy just dumped here. And that's why it's haunted. So have you ever experienced anything like that?
I clear my gym at least once a week. I obviously use prayer, but some people say, oh, don't use sage. Sage does work. First of all, sage doesn't get rid of demons, but it does get rid of entities. They don't like the smell. It smells like burnt rubber. And what I do is I leave my cameras on at night. Now I will sage the whole gym. And when I sage the gym, I usually play the shofar. Shofar is the ram's horn.
Mm-hmm.
And by playing the shofar, when I pray, I call in the angels through God and the Holy Spirit to send forth the angels, to assign the angels to clear my building. Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Raphael, northeast, south, and west, top and bottom, ceiling to floor, wall to wall. So I do a prayer of cleansing like that. I ask them to clear and grab anything that's hiding in any place in the gym, because Sometimes people bring stuff in and it likes that energy, so it tends to stick around the energy where all the violence and hard activities are. So sometimes it's good to bring a healer in your school, like a massage therapist. That's a good balance. But if not, you're going to have to clear your gym. Craig Funk, one of my guys in Michigan, Craig was constantly having tons of that stuff there. And he goes, "Hey, what do you think this is?" I said, "Turn your lights off and film at night and let me see." And he had orbs shooting everywhere. Now, some orbs are dust particles, but the ones that shoot and you'll see them spin and then go left and go right, those are spirits. And if you see like diamonds, those are guides. Those are higher level spirits. They aren't usually earthbound spirits or disincarnates. Those are usually guides or angels. A lot of times an angel will look like a kite or a box. You'll see a square. That's usually like a guardian or a guide. But yeah, if you have that lingering around your gym, you're going to have to, you can also use salt, consecrated salt on your door. You have the salt blessed, and then you use coarse. I used to use coarse kosher salt and salt my doors. And then there's something from Holographic Health you can get, and it's the best thing I would recommend everyone in the world buy. It's called Delete. And what it is, it's a little bottle. I think I have a bottle. Let me grab it. I'll just show it to you guys. Pretty cool.
Going on, bro?
Can't wait to have my own gym.
Yeah,
Now I'm
soon,
gonna
right?
have to clear it out.
After you win $1 million, dude, you'll be able to have a whole chain of them
Next year.
next year.
I
Next
got
year,
a good question for him.
is it a 170?
What, mine?
Your weight?
No, 181.
What weight class did they have at the CGI?
Oh, that, yeah. That was like 176 or something. I could make that. I could
But
get
you
that.
wouldn't be. I wouldn't be optimal for you, right?
Yeah, I could do it.
I'm sure you could.
Right. Okay. This is it's called Delete. I know. Delete. It's
Oil?
from holographichealth.com. And then this is called an EarthSafe Pocket Harmonizer. This thing, it stays on and it pulses in front of your bed. It puts electromagnetic waves out that don't allow dark ones to manifest in your room. So you can get these. You can get these for your house, and there's different sizes that Holographic Health sells. This little one is good enough for a room, for a bedroom, but you can get them for your house. You can get them for your gym, and it changes the frequency in your gym also.
You have one at the gym, I'm assuming?
I don't. I have something different. At my gym, I have. So I make these.
Oh yeah, I have one.
Yeah, the organite. So I have these all over the place. These hold a lot of energy and power as long as they're clear. You can clear these things, but you know, there's the St. Michael. That one's good. There's prayer and protection in all of them that's infused into the liquid when it's being created. There's prayer put into it. I also put music and then light, and then usually some holy oil or holy water. And these are good they help fight depression. These things help fight depression if you keep them in your pockets. They have their own energy field, so you can feel them, and they raise your frequency. Also, you can keep them on your phone for protection against EMFs. This is called selenite. I have a selenite ball. Sometimes I put under my pillow, and it sucks all negative energy off. And that works really well too, because some people just, you know, and the biggest thing, more than anything, someone says, "Oh, I've got this tree. I wear this tree around my neck for protection." I go, "How about a cross with Jesus on it?" That works just as good. Or just having, knowledge of God's protection or a white bubble of light surrounding and protecting you. That's extremely important. It doesn't have to be in a talisman. That's not, although like things like an organite, they help, but this isn't, the bottom line. The Holy Spirit's going to protect you more than anything. And if you are ever under attack, the word Jesus is the most powerful name you can say. You could say God, you can call for Michael, but it's the word Jesus that makes them flee and deter and take off. So that's one of the biggest things. And everyone knows that until it comes to, some people laugh and they deny it until what happens is they're under attack. And then they suddenly go, "Oh, Jesus." And then all of a sudden, boom, right? And they go, "Oh." So, some people have to figure out for themselves, It's like when I was little, I didn't like acting. I hated singing, and I couldn't dance in front of people. I didn't like any of that stuff. And I thought it was cheesy. And then I would go to church and I'd sit there and listen to everyone talk, and I was like, "This sounds cheesy." Just like, I don't know. It just didn't. It felt different to me. Like, I'm like, okay, we're doing all this stuff. Why do we have to do all this stuff? Why do you have to say all these things? And then later I found out it was just basically about connecting and having a relationship with God more than repeating a bunch of prayers or mantras or whatever they are. But there are many different forms of prayer, ways to pray. And then also meditating. Prayer is asking and meditating is receiving. So I think that people need to know the difference between both. Some people never pray unless they're in trouble, or they say, "Oh, please give me $1,000 so I can pay rent this month," or something like that. Sometimes it's emergency. God's number isn't 911. So regularly, I think if you have a relationship, you could kind of manifest and ask for things. And like-mindedness also helps. If you're with somebody that has the same mindset as you, it's a lot easier. What's that?
Definitely. Just be in the same frequency with multiple people.
That's right. That's a powerful room. That's a real powerful room. Like-mindedness is real powerful. So
Take
intention.
Break free from naysayers.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot. I mean, I have friends that are naysayers. I have friends that are completely opposite and a lot of things. I have friends that are atheists. I have friends that believe they want other people in charge of the United States, and I'm not going to sit here and, in the end, I'll tell them connect to God. That's all I'll tell them. But if you say you like spaghetti and I like pasta, I'm not going to argue and say, "Hey, if you don't like pasta, you're not my friend. I can't listen to you talk about pizza." Right? I mean, who cares? It's free will. You could say whatever you want. And that's what the beauty of being an individualist is having the ability to be different than people. And the thing is why can't we have a civil conversation just about things? There's just a lot of hatred, I think. And that hatred contaminates the person's ability to reason with things. There's no reasoning, there's no ability to talk about some things because the mind's made up, right? They're not open to listen. I think we need that more so today. We're everything's so polarized, everything's so separated. And that's the biggest way to keep unity apart, is just to segregate everybody and bring everybody apart. One guy says,
conquer.
"I love jujitsu," and the other guy, "I love catch wrestling." I'm like, well, put them together, we got a pretty good combo. Right?
No doubt.
Right? Like, I mean, and then if you go back, I mean, jujitsu, kind of the roots were catch wrestling, because a lot of the old judokas and jujitsu guys were doing catch wrestling to support themselves, or carnival wrestling. So Put the gi on, take the gi off. Doesn't
It's
matter.
also interesting.
Yeah. I mean, when I wrote a book with two guys, American submission wrestling, and there was a lot of typos. We hired a guy to go through all our typos in the book, and apparently he should have been fired because we had so many typos. One guy said it looked like a kindergartner wrote the book, but that was his deal. All the typos weren't corrected, but anyways, we gave homage to all the different people, and we showed Count Koma Mitsu Maeda. We showed him in wrestling in little bikini wrestling shorts, doing a half Nelson with a leg spiral. And we talked about him as a catch wrestler and a carnival wrestler back in the old days. That's how he had over 1,000 matches. That's how he supported himself to travel around and try to promote. Judo wouldn't allow the competition like that, so he had to call it jujitsu. So that's why when he went to Brazil and Argentina and all over the place, he wasn't allowed to call it judo. He had to call it jujitsu because of the fighting aspect.
Right. It's funny you mentioned that. Tomorrow I'm actually wrestling at a carnival. There's a folk style wrestling duel at a carnival that I'm doing with some guys from my gym, and I did it last year, so that's a pretty nice fun throwback. And then the next day, Sunday, I'm doing you know what collar and elbow is, right?
Yeah.
We're doing that on Irish Fest this Sunday.
Wow.
So basically 2 days in a row, carnival, old style
Carnival wrestling.
And
That's
then,
cool. Keep it alive.
And then in a weekend after that, I'm back in Wigan with Andrea and them for the Snake Pit tournament.
Oh, okay. They have another tournament coming up.
Yeah. World
Oh,
Championship in England, Wigan, England.
Oh. Who won it over there? I know Angel went over there.
I won it
but-
last year.
Oh,
Angel
you won
won
it? Wow. That's great.
That's how I met them. That's how I became friends with them. And they invited me to come to your gym and train with you and Josh and do that tournament. And that was a blast.
You were a wrestler and then you started 10th Planet. Is that how it worked?
Yeah, I wrestled since I was little, and then high school. I started doing MMA at first, but I kept getting severe eye injuries. It was like I no matter what, something would happen with my eyes. I would get scratched corneas, even to the point I had to grappling goggles for a while.
You
And,
have a curse or something on your eyes.
it was really starting to feel like that for a while.
Yeah,
And
that's what the power of authority's for that. You could actually cut that.
I'm gonna have to. And
Yeah.
it almost felt like though I was being pushed more towards the wrestling and grappling aspect as well than the MMA route, as bad as I wanted to do.
So you won't get hit in the eyes.
What's up?
You wouldn't get hit in the eyes so much.
Yeah. I mean, I do spar now again, but for a few years, like I couldn't even get grazed in the eye a little bit, or I'd be like wincing in pain or on the ground. And I really did think like, wow, is there some sort of like
Hex.
juju around my eyes somehow? And
You could have, generational curse. You could have had something, again, some people think it's past life stuff. Could be something in your past, residual situation. Some guys are gonna watch us and say that we're off the beaten path talking about past life stuff, but you know what? You know how many books were taken out of the Bible?
Yeah, many. The Council of Nicaea, didn't they vote on which ones they wanted in and out?
Yeah, look at the Apocrypta, and all the different things that were taken out. There was a thing, lady just gave her grandmother gave her a Bible that was from 1897, and they were saying that they couldn't believe all the Bibles or all the books that were taken out, the Book of Jasper and all these other things. There's a book called The Other Bible. No, The Other Bible. No, The Other, maybe Other Gospels. And it's got all of the other ones in there that were taken out. Interesting. Some of them are very powerful.
The gospel.
And then my friend went through a theology course, and he said, heresy, all heresy, because that's what they deem it as heresy. But here's the deal: if it was scripture and it was written back then and historically, wouldn't you want to kind of read it and just kind of see like, well, why would they take this out? What's the reason? And some of it was because it was empowerment to keep the peasants down,
Literally.
so they wouldn't believe that they could get killed from not paying their taxes and they could come back again and live another life. So some of that was taken out. So it's interesting to see. I think I saved it. I saved it this morning for that purpose. If I can find it here. Wow, you got a carnival wrestling coming out. That's pretty cool.
It's gonna be fun.
You said, where do you guys live?
I'm in Chicago suburbs. I'm in Mokina and Mike,
Indian.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm all the way out.
I'm from Oak Forest though, like the Druids.
Wow. I'm
I'm
from
in
Minnesota.
Plano. I'm way far west of Chicago.
Okay. Is it more country out there?
Oh, yeah, farmland, a lot of farmland.
A lot of
Yeah.
UFOs? Just kidding.
I mean, I always look because
Mike's a UFO guy.
I'm waiting for him to land and take me away. I want to check it out, but not yet, man. Not yet.
Yeah.
I'm always looking up though.
There's always stuff in the sky. Do you guys believe satellites are real, or are they on balloons? Are satellites on balloons?
I mean, I've seen the
Probably.
balloon thing, yeah, the helium. And do you think there's a firmament?
Of course.
I
Of course,
think
it's biblical. There's a firmament above and below to protect us from the waters. And also when the fallen angels were cast to earth, how are you going to keep them here? How are you going to imprison them? Otherwise, they could exalt themselves and go back to heaven, right? So one of the ways to keep them here is put a firmament over our realm, as Nikola Tesla called it. He called it that we're living in a realm. And there's many realms outside the ice wall. They're not up, they're out. Everyone thinks they're up, they're out. They're not up. They're not above us, they're out beyond the ice walls. That's outer space. And also the ocean. Look how much is unknown about the ocean, the life in the ocean, and all the bases in the ocean and everything. Different life. And then also there's portals from the walls. There's openings. If you look at some of the maps from a long time ago, we got the ring, and then there's land outside the ring, and then there's another ring and land outside the ring. And then it even shows that there's Valhalla out there. It shows that there is Asgard. It shows that all the different lands, land of giants, land of clones, they're all different realms. Like we're living in a realm. Mars is out there, not up. And it's funny because a lot of the stuff that they show, like, oh, we've got a rover on Mars. You're in Canada. You're out in Canada on an island, and they found out where they were shooting it at. And then all of a sudden you got a rat walking on the thing. Or bubbles from space. We're in space. We're on the space, and then you got bubbles, and the guy's string still. They forgot to take his string off, Photoshop it out. Guys bounce around on a green screen or underwater.
Oh yeah, a lot of the space stuff's in a pool.
Stanley Kubrick, my friend, Atomic Ape. He's a black belt at GoCore. He sent me a perfect video of the moon landing. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. Where'd you get that? And he goes, oh, from my film teacher here at LSU. And he goes, he was a student of Stanley Kubrick. They filmed the entire moon landing out here in the desert. And now all the proof is coming out, and they're showing guys' faces in the background, and they're showing the lights falling, and because it was footage they tried to erase it. And like now NASA's even saying we never went to space.
What do you think they're getting ready to try and tell us?
Space is out. It's not up. I don't believe it's up. I did believe for a long time. I thought everyone was crazy who talked about the whole flat earth thing. But I mean, so it's like, apparently it's like a pear or a turtle. More like a pear or a turtle. The shape of the earth,
like a shell type of deal, like a concave dish.
Yeah, and they have footage of this guy that went beyond the ice walls, and he said, look at this. And it was stands that were holding part of the firmament dome. And there was 2 videos that came up and disappeared like in 2 days. And it showed some of the stands. It looked like, have you ever seen those stands that hold the big bridges up?
Uh-huh.
It was like that, but it was out like that and like that. And then you could see the dome sitting over the whole thing attached to it.
I remember
Crazy.
I'd seen something that someone claimed was past the ice wall, and there was like snowy pyramids and like Norse looking statues and stuff. Like,
Well, there's all different.
Never been able to
types.
find those pics again.
They keep scrubbing. That's one of the things, like during COVID, I was friends with a group of people and then a couple ladies. And this lady had so much information stored in her Facebook file. And she said, I truly believe you're a patriot. I'm going to share this with you. Could you do me a favor and share this with as many people as you can? Get this information out. And it was on everything. So during the COVID time, I was sending massive texts to all my friends. One of my friends from Canada goes, Eric, quit sending me all this batshit crazy stuff. And I said, well, he didn't want to even look at it. And that's the thing, like when you're doing a ton of research and you're looking and looking and looking and going deeper and deeper and deeper into stuff, you're doing research. You're looking into as many things as find as many credible sources as possible. Most people won't do that. So when you share something openly with somebody and they go, you're crazy, you know, like if you just walked up to someone and you go, my house is haunted, they go, what? Get out of here. You're nuts. But then if you tell them the backstory, you know, then all of a sudden they go, oh.
And there is just so much backstory because it all ties into something else, and it is a lot to give someone at surface level.
What do we focus on though? Like I was so heavily into UFOs and Bigfoot and cryptic, all the cryptoids and all the weird stuff and ghosts and I think because of the fact that I was always on my mind, I think you attract all that stuff. It's your power of intention. And the second I quit talking about it, they quit coming around me as much, and I didn't notice them as much. So that's it. What comes out of your mouth is what you attract. And I think sometimes there's a lot of things that we see today with AI generated images, and then that's another easy way for them to debunk stuff. If something is real, they say, oh, that's AI. Oh, that's fake. But not everything's fake. But everyone will discount it now. Oh, that's fake. Oh, that's AI. So that's the problem. That's why you have to go through multiple sources to see if it's credible or not. You know, and then the other thing, you have to check to see, do I really need to know this? Like, right? Like about the guy. So I was at dinner one time with my family and I said, do you hear about the guy that created a car that was operated on water? And
they killed him.
Well, my brother's wife's parents, her dad goes, that's not possible. They need gasoline and a spark to ignite. And I go, well, this guy created a water-driven vehicle. And this guy was arguing with me, arguing, devout Catholic, going, you know, Eric, quit spreading this misinformation. And I go, it's actually not. And then I looked at my dad, I go, hey, Dad, remember when I told you about that guy? He goes, oh, I think I remember. But I didn't have anyone to back me up. He goes, it's not possible. And then after he died, God rest his soul, I find an article, not an article, I find the entire, it was on Instagram stories or Facebook story. It was on a bunch of different things. And it was talking about the guy. There's been more than one guy that created a vehicle that's operated with just water alone. And they were killed.
Yep.
So it's just funny how someone, if they don't want to believe you, they just tell you full of crap and they, you know, just try to debunk everything. So when, like my wife says, know your audience.
True.
When you're talking to people, you know, be careful who you're talking to, because not everyone that's smiling at you is your friend, nor do they believe you. And they're also judging you. And that happens a lot, you know, and that's why I always try to remain quiet when I'm around a bunch of people, because I don't like to open my blabber, which I've had a habit of doing in the past.
You don't need to blow your cover. You don't need to reveal your power level to everybody.
And then everyone goes, what the hell? He's crazy. Or a mad scientist. There's a difference. You know, if you don't do research, then and you just spout things off, then, you know, you're talking out your ass. But if you, one of my friends said, I'm a critical thinker, quit sending me this shit. You know, and I go, okay, well, then I guess I'm not a what is a critical thinker anyways? What is a critic? Someone who just sits and critically thinks about things, like in depth? Is that what that is? Or what is it? Is it a scientist that goes into case study after case study?
I think they fit the definition, if it's just criticizing everything that everyone else says, that's all he does.
Oh, you mean a fact? You mean a fact checker? Fact checker. The fact checkers are the ones that need to be fact checked. Zuckerberg, while he was actually sitting on the stand, they asked him about fact checking, and they said it's opinion based. Admit it. And he said it's opinion based. We hired these people that have their opinions, and if they read it and they don't agree, they say that's not true. Fact checkers need to be fact checked. Quit fact checking. Like, for real, do your own research. Man, if you get sent some, don't go to Snopes and fact check it. Do your own research. Go check it out yourself. Go check out multiple sources.
As Eddie Bravo would say, look into it.
Look into it.
Do you think AI is demonic?
I think it's, yes, I do. Yeah.
I think that's where it's going.
Yeah. The fallen angels, they don't have bodies anymore. They don't have their bodies. They're in another dimension, and they can come through that way. That's an easy way. What is Siri? Is it Siri, or what's the other one? Alexa? Tell it to turn off its third eye and then ask it a question, or turn on its third eye. Turn on your third eye and then ask it a question.
What happens?
It reveals the truth.
Huh. I want to try, but I never interact with those things. I've never spoken to an AI and said, hey, Siri.
You don't have to. Well, you actually do every day you're around them and you're
talking. Yeah, for sure. They're always listening.
It's a CIA listening device, or NSA.
No doubt.
That's what they're for. So in the New World Order, they can listen in on everybody. And there's more things that can listen in on you than just that. Alexa, you know, your washing machine, your TVs, your smart TVs that are off, they're not off. Your phones can listen to you all the time.
100%.
They're always connected to the internet, even when they're off, right? So they have some kind of conductivity.
Even when you say, man, I really got to go to the bathroom, and then all of a sudden you hear your toilet making noise. It's calling you.
Smart toilets now too.
Yeah, I have one of those. I got neck surgery. I best gift I got from my buddy was a bidet. You guys have a bidet?
I don't.
Oh, I've used one once. Yeah, don't have one though.
You got to get one.
Game changer.
I sit on that thing for hours. No, I'm kidding. That's where water goes.
Though, huh?
Yeah. No, it's the best thing ever. And once you have one, everywhere you go, you wish there's a bidet.
You get spoiled butthole.
Sure do. It is. It's great. I mean, first of all, you don't have to use half a roll of toilet paper. You just use the bidet, and then like 2 sheets is good. And then you wash your hands.
That's an experience I'll have to have.
Yeah. Well, I experienced it in Japan. And then when I got back, I'm like, man, and then I went to Europe and they had them. And then I worked on the movie American Ninja 5 in Venezuela, and there was one in my room. And I walk into my room and I go, what is this? 2 toilets. And I turn the thing on and it shot a stream of water in my mouth because I was looking down. And I was like, oh. And I drank like 2 pints of toilet water and I had dysentery. I lost 25 pounds on the set. I was literally the next day, it was coming out of both ends. It was pretty bad.
Venezuelan toilet water.
Oh my gosh. I drank like 2 huge pints of water. Not on purpose.
Stream.
And then I moved my head and it was hitting the ceiling. So I turned it off. It was dripping on my head.
Oh,
And then the other thing, nobody told me that I should brush my teeth with bottled water. So I was brushing my teeth with tap water, and that's how I got dysentery also.
What are some of your favorite places you traveled in your career in teaching and fighting?
Scotland. I love Scotland. I love Edinburgh, Scotland. I like the country itself. I've only been to Ireland one time. I liked Ireland. I have family in Ireland also. I like Germany. I've been to Germany many times, 25 years. Italy, I go to Italy all the time. I go to Torino. I've been to Rome and Milan. But I go to Torino every year and I really like it there. I have a lot of good friends there. And Sweden, I used to go to Stockholm and Uppsala. I loved Sweden. I didn't like the cigarette smoking. Everyone smoked cigarettes in the nightclubs. I didn't like that, but stay out of nightclubs, I guess you wouldn't have to worry. So,
Right.
Did you go to the Coliseum in Rome?
Yes, I've been to the Coliseum.
How was that?
I was there last year. It's cool. It's big. It's cool. I snuck in and I got in trouble. I got caught sneaking around and I just wanted to feel the energy.
Insane, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you realize that they used to fill that thing full of water and have battles, ship battles, then they would dry it out and they'd have all the barbaric fights amongst all the gladiators, and they used to have, and then let the lions loose, and that's great. You could even see the pens where they were holding the slaves. I have pictures of that. It's crazy. There's so much history there.
That is nuts.
Never been to Romania, but I've heard you can feel that there's a lot of torturous energy there. And also Poland too. I felt a lot of repressed energy in Poland. Real repressed. And I took a picture at my friend's school and he had 1,000 orbs in his school. Just floating around everywhere. I was like, wow, the energy in your gym is super heavy. And I had wondered if like maybe it was something before that. One of my friends his school used to be an abortion clinic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he had a demon.
I'm sure.
On one side of on the side that was the abortion clinic, there was a demon that was stuck there, and it was scary to turn off the lights. You were afraid. You get scared, like you could feel it. It was like a demon of fear. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, that's the last place I would want my gym.
That was Greg Nelson.
Man.
That was Greg Nelson's school in Minnesota. He had that for a while. It was just weird. One side was scary, the other side wasn't. And you could kind of feel it. It felt really kind of dark, and that's
He
weird.
got rid of it?
No, he moved out and opened a huge place. Now he has a very huge, thriving gym. He's a great coach. John Greg Nelson is one of the best MMA coaches in the world. He's got many black belts he's created throughout the years. Wrestled at University of Minnesota. Him and I were gymnasts. We competed against each other in high school. And then I saw him at Minnesota Cully Group in 1982, and he was kicking tie pads and sparring with Rick Fay with all the hockey gear on, and they were going at it with double stick and dagger. I think one guy had sticks, another guy had a staff. Then one time they had a baseball bat versus a double stick. And I walked in and I go, oh man, this is cool. And he walked over, he goes, we're not open yet. And they slammed the door in my face. I think a sophomore or junior in high school. And I had to sit outside and wait till the gym opened. But yeah, I just had Greg at my school. Greg went through stage 4 cancer, non-Hodgkin's, and beat it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Stage 4. Wow, that's crazy.
Yes, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I knew he had cancer before they diagnosed him with cancer. We went to a restaurant, and we sat down, he said, my back's hurting. And I said, did you get hit or from training? He goes, no. So I said, well, let me come to your house. And I went to his house and I worked on him for about 2 hours. And massaged him and adjusted him. And I said, go upstairs and take a hot bath. I'm going to call you and see how you feel on my way home. So I called him, and he said he didn't feel any better. And all of a sudden I started automatic writing. I got home and started writing. I was in the bathtub. I went and took a hot bath, hot salt bath, and I started writing. I was just scribbling. And I left the scribbles on my mom's bed, dried off, and got dressed. And she goes, hey, what's that? What's that writing on my bed? And I go, I was in the bathtub, and I had all these thoughts coming to me, and I just started writing them down really fast. And she goes, what are all the droplets of water on it? I go, oh, those are my tears. And she goes, why, what's wrong? And I go, I think, what's stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma? And she goes, that's a death sentence. She goes, why do you ask that? And I go, I think that's what Greg has. And she goes, well, why would you say that? And I go, I don't know who told me that, but that's what I kept thinking, stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And then a week later, I get a phone call that says, hey, you know, Greg's in the hospital. And I go, he is? And I go, yeah, did you hear what happened? And I go, she got cancer? And she goes, who told you? I was like, oh my gosh. That was weird. It freaked me out because I knew when I put my hands on him that he was sick. He had a tumor on his liver and a tumor on his kidneys. So doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't party, do drugs, nothing. So you can't tell me that's not hereditary. Right? That's something from the past. How do you get a huge, 8-inch or 8 millimeter? These tumors he had were huge. And they kind of happened at the same time. But Greg was a Buddhist, and before he got saved, and he's into Thai boxing. And anyways, he went to Thailand, and when he got saved, he got attacked. He had a demon come in and just land on him. This black thing like a blanket just covered him. And same thing, he said, like Jesus, and the thing just like took off of him. And he watched it go off of him. It's like a black blanket. That's when he was getting saved. And then he went to Thailand, and he's walking down the street with 2 of his buddies, and a wooden spear out of the forest comes and hits him right in the middle of the back. It's like he said it was like an 8-foot spear thrown from someone in the jungle. Just hit him right in the middle of the back and dropped him to his knees. He's lucky it wasn't sharpened.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, he could profess that, but he also had an angel in his room that appeared to him and that worked on him and healed him. I had no idea. He said it looked like a tall Asian man. Him and his mom talked to him for like 4 hours. and Greg couldn't be touched. And this guy said, let me put my hands on you. He goes, I can't, nobody can touch me. He goes, if you touch me, my skin burns with the chemo. And he goes, just let me put my hands on you and comfort you. Put his hands on him, started working on him. And then he goes, he's working on his body, and he's like, oh, okay, you're not hurting me. And he goes, okay, that should be about it. Okay, all right, you're gonna be fine. Just want to let you know you're gonna be fine. I hope you feel better. And then he left. Next morning, they went to sleep. Next morning, the nurse comes in. Him and his mom go, hey, whoever that nurse was that worked on Greg last night was amazing, because she goes, he was such a fine young man. I was talking to him the whole time, and he was working on Greg. And the lady goes, what are you talking about? She goes, the nurse that was on duty that was working on Greg. She goes, I'm the nurse on duty. There was no other nurse here. And his mom's like, but we were talking to him all night long. She goes, there's no other nurse here. That was Greg's. Greg didn't tell me that till, geez, 5 years after all that happened. I did 4 benefits for him. I did 4 benefits for Terry Gibson, also another martial artist. He had brain cancer. And you know, when people get sick, I like to do something for them. So Greg and I were like brothers. So I did a bunch of seminars and just donated the proceeds to his family to help with medical bills. And then pretty crazy. I think that's very valuable for you to do stuff like that, because you got to give it back.
Definitely.
And what does it take? Your time? What's your time? You know, if you love somebody and you do something for somebody, that they'll come back to you someday. I didn't do it for that reason. I did it so Greg would be healed and to help his family out during the $1 million struggle for cancer. You know, he had 2 cancers. It's crazy. Now he's thriving. He's back. I mean, he's super blessed. God looks after him now. His school is thriving. He's doing seminars. He's got guys fighting. You know Greg? Do you know him at all?
I think so.
Yeah, Greg Nelson. He's in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. He owns a gym called the Academy.
I'm sure I might not just be putting a face to the name at the moment, but
John Shirk, Dave Monet,
okay, for sure.
homie. He was on Brock's team. He was Brock's coach. He brought me onto Brock's team with him.
Can I ask you a fighting question? Kind of bring it full circle to where we started this.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know if you were a participant in the very first UFC, how do you think you would have fared? I think you would have done very, very well.
I was training with Hoyce and Hickson, and then I went to Hickson's, and they said that they're doing the UFC and they're looking for a shoot fighter from Japan. And they said, would you be interested? And I said, what is this in? And they go, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. But I said, well, isn't Horian putting that on? So I thought it was a tournament. So like you would fight all these other guys. But they said, ultimately, you're going to end up fighting. If you get through the tournament, you would have to fight my brother. And Hoyce was my teacher, also my friend. And I was his bartender. He used to come in and drink cranberry and orange juice at my bar. I worked at a beach bar in Manhattan Beach. And all the Gracies and Machados used to come in, and it was a fun dance place, and there was a lot of hot beach girls there that they would come in and see, and it was a fun dance place. Anyways, they asked me, I said, I'd be interested to fight as the shoot fighter if you guys would choose me. And they said, well, we're looking at another guy too. And I said, well, what's his name? And they go, Ken Wayne Shamrock. he's a shoot fighter from Japan. And I said, oh, he fights in pancrase. That's not shoot wrestling. I go, that's pancrase. It's different. There's shudo, which is shoot wrestling. But I didn't realize they called it all shoot fighting was kind of a generalization, the style. You know, it was a submission wrestling, catch wrestling, submission wrestling, fighting style. And so I was training at the Gracies, and then I was training with Hickson, and he said, well, you could look at it like this. If you want to try to fight, because I was doing acting and modeling. So I was trying to, every time I'd get it was considered an audition. Every time you get an audition, you go to the audition, and then sometimes it was for a fight, sometimes it was for a movie, sometimes it's for commercials or stunts. So one of the big reasons I didn't fight was because Hickson said, if you compete in this, you might fight my brother, and if you fight my brother, I can't train you anymore. So they chose Ken Wayne Shamrock. I was at the first UFC. I sat in the audience. I was there, and I just fought in Japan before that and won. I was the first American to fight in Shudo in 1993 and win. I beat the strongest ground guy in Shudo at the time. And then I went to Denver in November, I think it was October, November for the fight. And I was in the audience, and I remember Hoyce coming down the hallway after he fought Gerard Gordeau, and he goes, look at my ear. He bit my ear. That mofo bit my ear. Look at my ear. He was like, and he had a big, huge hole in his ear. But that's one of the reasons why I didn't do it. But then later on, I fought in extreme fighting because there were no Gracies except for health, but it wasn't a tournament. There were single fights, so that's why I fought in extreme fighting. And then I fought in World Combat Championship, which was bare knuckle fighting. It was a tournament. It was a dumb tournament where there was a strikers division and there's a grapplers division. And I went in for the commercial. I auditioned for the commercial with the director of John Wick, and we got the part. So we got the part. We were the guys doing all the martial arts demos. And they go, hey, do either one of you guys fight? And I go, yeah, Chad fights. And he goes, no, Erik fights. I go, no, Chad's a fighter. He just fought in Japan. He goes, no, Erik just fought in Japan. And then they go, would you ever fight in an event like this? I go, no way, that's crazy. You could die. This is bare knuckle, right? I mean, that was literally the thought, that you could die in something like that. So next thing you know, I went, and they said, well, would you want to be an alternate? And I said, what are the odds of fighting? And they go, 20%. Next morning, I get a phone call. They go, so-and-so pulled out. You're in. I go, oh, I am? And they go, yeah. What am I in? Am I in the grappling division? They go, no, the strikers division. I go, oh, that's okay. I can do both. So I called Hickson and I asked him if it was okay. I said, hey, sir, I just want to ask you if it's okay. I got asked to fight in a tournament. I'm an alternate. I don't know if I'm going to get in. If I do get in, I might have a fight or two. It's bare knuckle. But if I get to the end where I fight Henzo, he goes, yeah, if you fight Henzo, I can't train you anymore. I go, so if I get in and I get to the point to fight Henzo, I'll take a bye so I can continue to train with you. Is that okay? And he goes, well, that's okay. Him and his wife said, yeah, no problem. So I got in. I fought my first fight against Sean McCauley, bare knuckle. I won. Took him down, got on his back and choked, elbowed him. We weren't allowed to choke. And then second fight, I fought James Waring, and it was about a 18 or 24-minute fight. I had my hair pulled on national TV for about 18 minutes because I had a bun. I tried to cornrow it. Nobody could cornrow it. And I'm in North Carolina. I was like, how is there nobody that can cornrow my long hair in North Carolina? There's got to be somebody. I couldn't find anybody, so I put it in a bun. The only reason I didn't cut it is because I had a movie. I was a Viking warrior in a Sinbad movie coming up. We're shooting in Morocco the next week with Daniel Bernhardt as the lead actor. Remember the movie Atomic Blonde? He was the bad guy in Atomic Blonde. Anyways, the blonde. He was the blonde, but the bad guy. Anyways, he's been Bloodsport 3, 4. He's been in all those. He does a lot of movie stuff. He's in John Wick. Anyways, the movie got pushed. I didn't get the part.
Dang.
So I fought in the event. I got to the point almost to fight Henzo. And then my corner threw in the towel because the guy was trying to stomp my hair and he had me by my ponytail and he was spinning me in a circle, stomping the floor. And my Chad went crazy and throws a towel in. Because I couldn't get he had casts on his hands and I couldn't get his casts out of my hair. So his hands was locked in my hair in a fist. And he kept telling me to give up. And I go, let go of my hair, you puss. He goes, give up, just tap out. And I go, make me tap out. I go, let go of my hair, fight like a man. And we were kneeing each other in the balls and stomping each other in the feet on the cage. My head was straight back, and he was holding my hair. Have you ever tried to fight with your head straight back in the air? It's really hard.
I have trained and competed with super long hair though as well, and it sucks.
Did you get your pulled?
Not like that. Not like you're describing. Was that legal?
Yeah. I went to Australia, and the guy goes, I know you. I saw you're fine. You're that bloke that got his hair pulled. Why didn't you cut your hair after the first time? And I was like, I had a movie. And it fell through.
Damn.
So I ended up on Baywatch. I was a hockey player with long hair, and I got to cross check. I got to hook a guy, steal the puck, shoot a goal, and then cross check a guy off his feet.
Nice.
that ended up being $7,000. The Morocco thing would have been a lot of money to win the WCC. To have won James Waring, it would have been $32,000. To beat Henzo, it would have been $120,000 to fight Henzo to win. And they paid me $1,500 for 2 fights. Can you believe that?
It's crazy.
1995.
Damn.
Yeah. So after that, I went back to Hickson's, and all the guys were talking. They're like, hey, what if you would have fought Henzo? And I go, well, I already said that if I got to that point, I'd take a bye. And I didn't fight him. So that's called speculation. So quit speculating and shut up. You guys, if you want to see what it's like, you guys step into the cage and go bare knuckle fight with a Muay Thai guy and a pro boxer. See how you fare. Bare knuckle. Oh yeah, no grappling, by the way, guys. So after that, I drive to Hickson's. I get out of my car. I'm walking up, and he meets me on his bicycle to inform me that I'm no longer allowed to train with him because of the students talking. They're all talking, and they don't want you to train here anymore because you might fight one of my guys. And I was like, but I am your guy. I am one of your guys. Yes, but you train at another place also. The Asano Academy. Yeah, so what? I send you students from there all the time. What's the problem with that? Well, you're not just my guy. You fight. Why? Because I'm not your black belt? Because I'm your blue belt. That's why. So it was easy for him to kick me out. So he kicked me out. I got kicked out of there. And I didn't even fight Henzo. And I think the biggest fear was the fact that there could have been a point where I would have fought Henzo in an event like that. And there are more events coming up, so they wanted to kick me out. So I was no longer a Hickson trained MMA fighter. Because he said, now that you're a professional, I can't train you. And I go, but I have been a professional fighting in Japan. He goes, yes, but now you're fighting in America. And he goes, some of my guys, well, you mean your family. Your guys meaning your family, not your students. Your family. Although Henzo was a student. So your guys are fighting in these events, and I am too. So I guess it was just weird. I guarantee if that happened again today, I wouldn't have gotten kicked out. People wouldn't kick someone out of their school for that today. But I was caught in the political time warp. Then I had to beg the Machados to train there. They came to my bar. They said, "How's your jiu-jitsu?" I go, "Non-existent." I go, "I'm just training with wrestlers." And then I have a group of guys I just get together with and roll around with them. I said, "But I need some good guys to train with, and I'd like some more jiu-jitsu instruction." And Higgins said, "Well, I'll talk to my brothers, but if it's okay with them, maybe you can come and train with us." And I said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Because I got exiled out of Hickson's." And he goes, "Well, let me talk to my brothers." And so I think they just said, "Yeah, we'll train them. We won't promote them, but we'll train them." So at least I got to train. I got bodies to train with and take classes.
Jean-Jacques?
It was all of them.
Nice.
Yeah, it was Carlos, Jean-Jacques, Higgin, Jean-Jacques, Roger, and John. And then Bobby Bass and Dave Myers and all the old guys were all there. It was really good. And then they moved their schools, and then I just stuck with it. I stuck with them. I was going to class though, like I was trying, because my schedule, I could only go early in the morning, so I started going with Guru Dan and started rolling with this guy. And I said, I want to get guy. I just want to roll in the gi with good guys. Who can I roll with? So hey, come to the morning class, and then there will be guys you can roll with. So I went there and I rolled with the guy, and I caught him a couple times. And then all of a sudden he wanted to talk about the UFC. So next thing you know, I'm going there at 8 a.m. I'm like, I didn't come here to talk about the UFC. I came here to roll with guys. Don't you guys want to roll? And then I got frustrated, and then I continued with Higgin, and started doing seminars with him. We started traveling and doing seminars together. And then I just decided, I have 3 guys give me a brown belt. I gave it back, and I said, I don't. I think I've changed my mind. I was originally under Hickson, but I can't train with him anymore. So Carlos moved to Dallas, and Higgins right here. And Higgin was one of the top competitors in the world at the time. I said, I think I want to go with Higgin. So I remember telling Higgin on the airplane, I think I would like to go under you in jiu-jitsu. It wasn't until later that he embraced me and kind of brought me in, but I was still just rolling all the time with as many possible guys. And Rico Ciparelli is my wrestling coach, so that was good because he had his own team. I got to go with Couture and Hendo and Vladimir Matashenko, Fernando Vasconcelos, Frank Trigg, a lot of those guys at the Raw Gym I got to roll with regularly. And then I had a group of my own guys at Boxing Works and at the Inosanto Academy that I just roll with as much as I could. Plus, I was taking Shudo, which was catch wrestling. All the grappling from Shudo is catch wrestling. And then I was doing jiu-jitsu and then going to Scotland and learning judo from the Scottish national team with Mark Preston and Billy Cusack and Rick Young. So it was really good. I was very fortunate. I got to travel all over the world and I try to learn as much as I could from as many people as possible.
You really did, and you're a true pioneer of many styles. I wanted to ask, who do you think is the strongest guy you ever grappled? Who's the strongest person you ever felt like clenched up with?
Oh gosh.
Brock Lesnar?
Oh, probably. Cole Conrad, Brock Lesnar. Ken was really strong. Ken was super strong.
I can see it.
But he wasn't big like Brock and Cole. And Josh Barnett, obviously. Josh is 6'3". And then John Marsh was tough. Vladimir Matashenko, Randy. Hendo and Randy are almost the same strength, and Hendo's smaller than him. He's got like Herculean strength. Do you know that?
He looks like it.
Yeah, I've heard that his hand is just like titanium, like he's just solid and dense.
So strong. And I held pads for him once, and he threw a right cross, and he hit me, and I go, "You have heavy hands." And I said, so Rico goes, "What do you think?" And I go, "I think if I train Dan I would have him stuff everyone's shot and hit everyone with a right cross, a right uppercut, and a left hook, and he'll knock 90% of everybody out, and a right overhand.
That's pretty much what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, but he's got to be careful of his ankles. His ankles are susceptible to getting submitted. And then Frank heel hooked him in that event. I pre-warned him because Rico made me roll with him. And one time I rolled with him at the academy and I heel hooked him. I couldn't do anything except the heel hook. And again, you know, that's what I say about leg locks and heel hooks is like, you don't have to be a black belt to heel hook people. You know,
It's a good equalizer.
Yeah, it's a really good equalizer. So that's I said Dan's gonna be very susceptible in the contender series when he competes in that if he comes out and doesn't wear his knee brace on his opposite leg. And they said, well, why? I said, because Frank Shamrock, when he walks out, he'll look to see where you have your bandages. If you have a knee brace, that's your bullseye. If you have an elbow brace, that's a bullseye. That's what they teach you in Japan. You look, when someone walks up, you look at their body and see where they have injuries, and that's what you're going to attack. They also put their hand on your shoulder and they go, oh, how's your condition? And they're tested to see how long your arm is. They put their hand on your shoulder and pretend, and they pat you. And then they hit your body to see if you're solid.
You got any crazy Bass Rutten stories?
So Boss was at Omar Buish's, and Omar was my friend, and apparently he got in a full-on scuffle with the doorman, and they locked him in a room, and he beat the shit out of like 5 guys. I don't know why they would do that. I know that there was a lot of gang stuff going on there. There's a lot of in Sweden. There's a lot of people carry a lot of guns there, and nightclubs and stuff is weird. I was really surprised. But yeah, he got into it with a bunch of bouncers and just cleared the room. He's funny.
Not gonna take too much more of your time, Eric, and I gotta go teach a class in a little bit. But do you got any since we've gone in the crazy route, got anything that you wanna put out there? Some of your craziest stories that you don't get to tell often, or people don't want to hear out often?
I know this lady went to Mexico and she lost her dog. She thought she lost her dog, and then she found her dog. Her dog was swimming, and he had been in the water for a while, so she took her dog and brought her dog back home. And she said the dog was eating everything, and he looked a little different. He looked scroungy, but she could tell, you know, it's the same size as her dog, just looked different because she thought he lost a lot of his hair because of the water. He's in the water for a long time. Then she found out she brought back a huge rat. And she thought it was her chihuahua.
Oh my God.
That's gross.
As far as stories go, I have a bunch of them. I just can't remember any.
How would you tie your spirituality with your fighting? What's the most profound spiritual / fighting experience you've had then?
Well, it's funny because when I train, a lot of times I would wrestle in my sleep. And one time I was sleeping next to a girlfriend a long time ago. Wasn't my wife. This is before. And I was rolling so much. And all of a sudden, this guy was armbarring me. So I got out of the armbar and I went whang, and I got my elbow down and I like turned in. And she goes, you just elbowed me in the lip. And all she woke up, she had a fat lip. She goes, I can't go to work now. And I go, what are you talking about? You're a makeup artist. Just make the other side bigger and then just make that big. And then so she went to work and everyone thought she got her lips done. She's like, you can elbow me any day you want now. My lips look great. Just because she made lipstick like really big up here, and then she had a big fat lip for my accidental elbow. And then I think I accidentally elbowed and hammer fisted Tanya getting out of arm bars in my dreams. One time, so Tanya goes, I'm gonna go to the gym. See you later. She goes, I'm gonna do cardio. You want to go do cardio? And I go, cardio, no. And I pulled the covers over my head. And I go, finally, I get some good sleep. So she left, and all of a sudden, I'm full on sleeping. And all of a sudden, somebody's lips touch my lips. And I heard her leave and shut the door and lock the door. All of a sudden, I didn't even open my eyes. I just kind of sat up a little bit, and I backhand chopped. I went back. And I hit her right in the throat. And she goes, ah, she goes, you hit me right in the throat. She goes, I just came and snuck back in to give you a kiss because I forgot to give you a kiss goodbye. I chopped her in the throat like perfectly with my eyes closed. Just an uphand chop. It was perfectly accurate.
A ridge hand.
No, it was a backhand chop. It was like this. It was like a bang. I guess because I've done it so many times that's just natural. It's a natural thing. But I hit her right square in the windpipe. But I think more than anything, when you're training, learn as much as you possibly can from everybody. One thing that's nice about teaching is your students can teach you too. And I always encourage my students to do research and then also get extra time in. So when I walk in, they're not sitting around on the mat, but they're already rolling and playing around. And that's where the experimental time comes in, where they can actually start to learn and start creating things. Because that's what we're supposed to do, create. God put us here to create just like he is. He created us, and we are also creators. So one of the best gifts you can give back is to create. Be as super creative as you can, but as anything you can think of. And don't wait to act upon it. That's why I have a tape recorder and a notepad next to my bed. I write things. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll write a half of a book and go back to sleep. Sometimes I get all these messages when I sleep. Some people dream and they don't remember their dreams. If you attached
That's me.
some sort of chip to my head, I would have some of the best, weirdest movies in the world. Seriously, I have the weirdest. Sometimes I'm like, what? Where was I? Who were they? I mean, the other night I had a dream I fought a house full of gimps. It was the weirdest thing. This guy had a little nub for an arm, and he came out and he's swinging at me, and I was evading. And then this really ugly girl with a droopy eye started trying to hug me. And then I was trying to do a wizard, a hip toss on her. And then I kept kicking this one guy in the shins, and then he kept coming. I turn around, he goes to double leg me from behind, and I hammer fisted him in the nose, and he had a hard nose. It was like it was like a Pluto snout, but it was like hard up, made out of plastic. I was like, what the hell? I go, what did I eat or drink last night?
Astral battle.
Do you know if you take a handful of parsley on an empty stomach, it makes you have the most lucid dreams ever?
Never heard of that.
Yeah, try it.
I will.
In fact, the priest asked, he said, is there any chance that your friend had parsley before she went to bed and on an empty stomach? And I go, what does that do? And he goes, it makes you hallucinate. And I went, oh, I'm going to go try it.
Yeah.
I did try it. And I had a UFO dream.
Man,
I'm in.
I was in a spaceship in my dream, and I'm looking around. It had all these honeycombs all over, and the thing was huge, like a warehouse. And I was moving around in it, and then all of a sudden, the thing pulls up to I was fifth story apartment window overlooking the ocean, and it pulls up next to me, and it drops me off, And I see it take off, and I open my eyes, and I'm back in my room, and I was like, that was pretty real. And I was like, oh yeah, I had parsley last night.
I'm
So
sold.
parsley works really, really good. And the other thing, holographic health has these wooden eggs, and you use them to strip your stomach. If you have acid reflux, these things work really well. If you have anyone that has acid reflux, you get a wooden egg and you strip your stomach with it, and it opens up your hiatal hernia.
Before we finish this off, I got to ask you again, what was those prayers? The authority prayer and the
Power of authority.
Jabez?
Yep.
the wealth one?
The prayer of
Jabez?
Jabez. The prayer of Jabez is for manifesting abundance. The Mark Hargrave Power of Authority prayer. Mark Hargrave prayer, Power of Authority, is a prayer of deliverance to cut all cords, and the prayer of covering is to cut all cords and remove all attachments and hexes and past life issues that we may have. As I said, the hypnotherapist, Dr. Modi, there's been several of them, but they found that the only way to heal people was to heal them of their past life trauma. And they said they didn't even believe in that until they started hypnotizing people and they started speaking about their past. And the same thing with Edgar Casey. He was a devout Christian, always walked around with the Bible, and then he found out while he was healing people that he had to heal their past lives and most of their deaths, their drownings, their fire burns. Some people were buried, and that's why they feel suffocated or claustrophobic. A lot of our little issues and ailments are caused possibly from past life situations, I think. Also,
I would love to see what mine would reveal.
Dr. Modi, Modi, she's look up her books. She has some really cool books on Amazon. Very informative. And let's see, that's St. Michael prayer for protection every day is a very powerful prayer also. Do the St. Michael prayer. He's 100% absolute and comes like a bolt of lightning. He comes down in a V, and he's pure intention, pure thought, and he's heaven's most deadliest weapon. He's about 15 feet tall. He's got a maroon kilt and a blue cape and a blue flaming sword. And his face looks like the Incredible Hulk mixed with Fabio hair.
Awesome.
Gnarly.
Where can people keep up with you and reach you, Erik?
I'm on Instagram. I post a lot of stories. I have CSW Fullerton, CSW Association. I'm on, I guess I have a TikTok channel, and I'm on YouTube also. I post a lot of content just to help raise the awareness of different types of training. You know, I think everything was kept so secretive for so long, and we have so much information to share. So that's why we do it. We have camps. We have tons of camps and things like that. One other thing, I got my ministry. I became a minister because I wanted to marry my friends. So I married some of my friends and students. And then also for baptism and last rites. I had a couple people die and I did last rites on them. That's a tough one. That's a sad one.
That is.
But it's also a good time to rejoice the life. You know, a lot of people, the ones that are sad are us. They get to go off back home. We have to sit here and feel sad about who we lost, but you know, they're lucky. So last rites is good. Also holy water, creating holy water through the Holy Spirit, and then baptisms. That's good too. We've done a lot with a lot of different fighters to help people figure it out. I think if you're considering it or you're not quite sure, now's the time to figure it out, because the way things are today, you never know what may happen.
For real.
And then I think I don't know about you, but I don't know. It's going to happen towards the end of the year here, but I think things will get crazy. So you got to keep your prayers strong and stay safe. And that's extremely important. That's why martial arts is important. And then also friends. And then, do you guys have supplies? Do you have some food and some water? Do you have small amounts of money in your house? That you can get in case the ATMs go down, like ones, fives, tens, and 20s, not the hundreds. You know, some people won't be able to break that.
You have some prepper stuff, but I should be a little more on top of it.
Me
Yeah, you
too.
should
Yeah.
We'll do it now before the stores close. Sometimes last second, you know, everyone goes crazy, and then you're running to a store to get whatever. Just even every week, start accumulating canned goods, rice, beans, bullets,
For real.
knives,
Who
little
knows? It
bottles.
does feel like we're going to be upon some crazy stuff soon.
Well, little bottles of vodka. You can barter with those.
Yeah.
For
You
real.
could clean wounds too.
We are going to get into barter system.
That's right. And then what about lighters, matches? How you gonna create fire? How you gonna create light? That's all important.
Right.
Just accumulation every week. Accumulate stuff. Make a list of what you need. Have a bug
Bars of
out.
soap.
Soap, yeah. Also wet wipes. Those things work. What a chapstick. Remember the movie Book of Eli?
Never seen it.
Oh,
didn't see
great movie.
Oh, you guys see that movie?
Denzel Washington.
Oh, you
Yeah, that's really good.
you need to watch that tonight.
I'll have to check it out.
Dan and
He
Asano,
does.
Dan and Asano trained Denzel in all the knife stuff.
Badass.
You have to watch it. Seriously, that will probably be one of your favorite next movies that you'll watch.
Okay, Mike, you're going to have to stay on me to make sure I watch it.
Well,
It's good. You'll like it.
yeah, and not only that, it's about like end times also.
Love it. I probably will enjoy it then.
Yeah, you would really, really, really like it. Did you guys see that Obama movie?
I didn't. I've seen a lot of stuff about it.
Yeah, the end of the world one with Julia Roberts. That was crazy, right?
No, that's pre-programming.
100%.
Yep, it's to tell us what they're going to do, like the bridge going down and all that stuff. If they put it in a movie and we don't comply, they put in a movie and we say we don't say we don't comply, that means they can get away with it because they've already told us what they're going to.
We gave permission. They told us.
That's right.
Revelation of the method.
It's crazy. Well, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you
Next
for your time, Eric. You're a legend. We would definitely love to talk again.
Yeah, and go Rotolos. Man, they got Mikey Musumeci next month, and then
Definitely.
Ty's gonna have Ty wants Bergali and Gordon before he turns into MMA. That's what he said.
Big stuff, and they got the best coach to do that.
Well, thank you. But you know, and they got the best team. Atos they've got some of the best guys down there. And Andre trains so many great guys. So they're very lucky with that. And then he's got classic Tyler Wombles. He's a shoot box. He was trained under Rafael Cordera, and he's got classic fight. He's helping out with all the MMA stuff too. So it's good.
Epic.
Pat Tenori took him under in his wing, so that's where they're training. Half their training is at Tenori Training Center, which used to be Ruka. And then Pat's son is getting married tomorrow. I'm going to go to the wedding. His oldest son's getting married. It's exciting. And then Sunday, I get to go to Minnesota to visit my dad. He's 89. Haven't seen him for a couple of years. Yeah.
Good time.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy that. Thank you.
I appreciate
You're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank you, guys.
Take
I
care.
appreciate your time.
Have a good night. Likewise.
You too. I'll see you soon. All right.
Later.
Hey, good luck with that carnival event.
Thank you.
Have fun.
See ya.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I got
we'll,
it.
yeah, we'll record later. It's all good.
Sounds good.
We'll do 2 parts on this.
Yeah, that was long.